Welcome to our brand new podcast, currently titled Play Pals. Let us know what you think about that name. I think it's quite fun. It suits down to what this is going to be. And you might be asking, what is this and who are you and why am I listening to you? And that is a very good question. And currently I'll be asking the same things. Why are you listening to that? But anyway, this is a podcast where it's just two guys pretty much sitting here talking shit and shooting the shit about the latest games, hot topics and everything in the world that's going on. And honestly, we're just here to have a good time and try and bring you guys some good vibes as well. So, who am I? Well, I'm Veggie Hot Dog, otherwise known as Veggie, otherwise known as Veggie HD, otherwise known as Max. Just call me whatever the fuck you want. That's what anyone else does, and it floats. Kind of a Twitch streamer, I suppose, Valorant analyst and caster. And joining me, as always, is the trusty, it's Whaley. How are we?
Potential I'm good, how are you?
I'm fantastic. I'm looking forward to this.
Mate, you're looking dapper with your Pokemon.
I've got my Pokemon. I don't know if I can turn around, but I've got my Pokemon Masters on the back. It's got all sorts on it.
That's one for the video listeners.
Oh, I've pulled my headphone out. I missed that. My headphones came out. That's a good start.
Hey, it can't go worse than last time.
I tell you what, it can't be worse than. It can't be worse than a Whaley intro to a YouTube video.
I know.
When it starts in the first 30 seconds, you're rinsing yourself. Your intro's, hey. Oh, I don't like that. Hey. Sound like Fonzie or whatever they're called with it. Hey. We're loving it. Anyway, so yeah, you're doing well, yeah? You excited? Ready to talk some gaming?
I'm buzzing. I've prepped some good games for this week.
Oh, have you? Okay, interesting. Yeah. I've been very much addicted into like a couple games. I won't lie. It's hard to draw myself away from some games. And what might be most surprising to you is I'm not going to talk Valorant. It's not what I came to talk about. That might be the biggest shock of the day. It's not what I've invested all my time into in the last couple of weeks. It's the blood from Valorant has stopped pumping currently, for now at least.
I've been off it for months now. I think I picked it up like last month again, and I was like, nah. I get angry so fast.
It's an addiction. It's like Scottish people have that addictive personality already. Feel like if you watch Train Spotting, where they're all running about trying to get their head in. That used to be me with Valorant, and I've finally kicked it. I'm finally off it. I'm no longer in a room talking shit. Well, no, I'm in a room talking shit, but it's not about Valorant this time. It's about something completely different.
Need to redo those Choose Life PSAs for Valorant.
Choose Yoru. Choose this. Choose flashing your own teammate. Choose TPing into the enemy spawn. But yeah, listen. So where I don't know if you've done it because my headphones popped out, but where can we find your socials? Whereabouts are you going to be hiding from all of this? Apart from obviously on this podcast.
Just on YouTube. At Y.
Okay. Yeah, that's going to be easy for listeners to find.
Just go through the podcast Twitter, then redirect yourself.
Go through the matrix and you'll finally make it. Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and x.com or Twitter or
we're not
whatever.
calling it x.com. We will not conform
really
to that. It's not going to be ever called x.com. No point in someone going up to me.
We have to at some point. I mean,
no. Never. I still, when I pull my phone up, try and open it, I still search for Twitter. I don't care if X is the easier search function, I still search for Twitter. I don't care, it still comes up.
It's the up-and-coming live streaming platform.
That is a good point. I did see Mr. Elon was streaming, 400,000 on Diablo 4 the other day?
Yeah.
It's
400,000, I mean. Come on.
It's just questionable. Yeah, I mean, listen, I'm not going to knock it. I mean, but you're right. It could be something that we're sat here in a couple of weeks talking about. Of going live on x.com.
Jeez. I think they're going to have massive incentives for people to do it.
I mean, possibly. I feel like Circles was a thing, right? Circles kind of took off a little bit, and then they've took away Circles recently, right? So it's maybe that is the new replacement for X as these live streams and such.
I mean, look, I think. Honestly, I think there's a massive incentive to it. I mean, if you looked at the amount of money people were making for tweets, the live stream, if they're paying anything close to that for live streams, then I want a piece of that.
Yeah, find us live on X at any time. Listen, that's fair enough. I get it. It is one of these things. And like you said, it'll be interesting to see kind of where it takes it because, I mean, X has been significantly in the bin for a while. It's always been people throwing it away. I mean, I don't know if did you use Threads when it took off?
No, not really. I put out one thread of a my partner made a focaccia
Okay,
bread,
yeah.
and I put that out and went, tasty, and I got like 2 likes. I was like,
Yeah, I mean, I think when X first took over and everyone thought like the end of the world was here, I made one,
Yeah.
and I like downloaded the app, signed up, registered, followed a few people, was like, yeah, this is where it's at, and I like forgot about it for a month, and then I think I made a post, and I was just like, oh, this is is this still a thing, and then never uploaded back again. So I don't know, I feel like Threads just didn't fully take advantage of what that could have been. Dead, yeah. But anyway, okay, so this is going to be a segment that we're probably going to bring into every episode. Today's one isn't going to be quite as where we want it, because we want contributions from new listeners, from new watchers, whatever you're doing. If you've literally just got the video up with no audio, then you can interact with this as well. It's called Question of the Day. I'm going to put in a jingle because I'm not a certified singer. But it's going to be like a segment. It might question of the week, or by week is probably the better, but it doesn't sound quite as good.
No, it doesn't.
But this is where we want you guys interacting and submitting questions, whether it's in the comments below or maybe sending it to us on X/Twitter, or sending it across to the email address once we finally get that set up as well. And we'll be picking, I mean, we're not limiting ourselves to one. We might pick a few depending on how it goes. But today, because it's episode 1, I thought I'd take us back to the very start, to the basics of what got you into gaming. So, Whaley, what brought you to gaming? How did this start for you?
I think I might have started off on a PlayStation 1.
Okay,
or a GameCube. I know that for the majority of my like gaming, it was it was demo discs.
Okay, yep.
And I'd get them in magazines.
So
play,
magazines,
like,
yeah. Yeah.
I'd play like 2 hours of Splinter Cell, 2 hours of fucking Majora's Mask. I'd be like, yeah, I like this game. I remember like specifically on the GameCube, I used to get like they used to send little video demos, like literally just like a Let's Play now.
Yeah.
And I put it in, and it was like, I think Twilight Princess, Zelda, okay. And it was like a full playthrough of the game on video, and I was like, this is really cool. I was like,
yeah, the discs were absolutely amazing. Like, I mean, like every week you would go to the shop and pick up like what it was like Game magazine, or there was like Xbox's own magazine and such, and you'd just get that disc, and you'd go to the shop, and people would have like tore the bag open, and the disc would be missing from the magazine.
I distinctly remember as well getting going on holiday with the family, and say like I was like 2, but
yeah, it's a big
going
memory.
on family with the family. And you know when you make friends on holiday when you're a kid, and you're like at the kids club or whatever, and someone had a Game Boy Pocket, and he let me borrow it, and it was the biggest mistake of his life, because I didn't want to give it back at the end. I was like, this is amazing. This has Pokemon. It was like black and white. You couldn't really see anything because it was like sunny and the screen didn't light up or anything.
Yeah,
I was like,
the brightness, yeah.
Man, those were the days. Those are the days.
Okay, so you were PS1.
PS1, GameCube, Game Boy Pocket. That sort of, it gives you a rough idea of when.
Yeah, okay.
How about yourself?
I've got to be honest, it's probably pretty much the same. PS1 was my first console that I owned, and then I didn't get another console till like the Xbox 360. I don't actually know why, it just never happened. And the reason I got an Xbox 360 was purely because Gears of War. I remember I used to go into my cousins and play Gears of War like consistently, so when it came to the point of buying a console, it was very much the only console I care about is one I can play Gears of War on, because that's the only game I want to. But that was already like at a reasonable age, right? I was already like old enough. I mean, I wasn't 18, so I was technically not old enough to play Gears, but it was like that point. But before that, it was very much like Pokemon was the biggest one for me, was like along that. This isn't talking about Pokemon, but my PS1 I got was like chipped. So I had like 100 games, and all I had to do was like put them in, and I had like GTA where it was like the top down view, and you were just running around.
Yeah.
And
GTA
like,
London.
yeah, and like Monster Rancher, and it was Monster Rancher one was great because you could go to a point and you could like put another disc in, it would like read the disc, and then you got a monster out of it. Yeah. But because I had all these chip games, you just got like crazy as fuck monsters. It was great. It was so fun. I remember it like just sending my monsters into training and then taking them into the battles or whatever it was, and then you get like your A to S tier and such. That was a whole lot of fun. But predominantly Pokemon was probably where I grew up mostly into gaming, and then I hit that stage where it was old school runes. Well, it was RuneScape at the time. And then that took me into like college, and then it was a heavy FIFA addiction, which I thought I'd kicked, and now is kind of coming back. I can't lie. I think I've downloaded the 10-hour trial to stop myself buying it currently, and I think I've jumped at £60 into packs already, which I'd done the same last year. And I swore I wasn't going to do it this year, of downloading the 10-hour demo and then spending more on the game and packs and then not buying the game. So now I'm just waiting until I get paid. I'm just going to buy the game, so it's worth it. I don't care. I'm not spending £60 on packs and not buying the bloody game again.
I actually went through my PS5 playtime the other day, and all of my top games are FIFA. And I'm like, I've not been really into FIFA forever. Yeah. And I was just like, it just shows it's such an addictive game for football fans. But it's like, I was like 300 hours on FIFA that year. What?
It's crazy how that works, right? And then I mean, for both of us coming from kind of where we met was along Football Manager, right?
Yeah.
It's funny when you think about like your evolution of games in that aspect. Like I very much went from MMO, which is RuneScape, into fully FIFA, and then like FPS games in terms of Gears of War, like your Call of Duty 4, Modern Warfare, such.
Yeah.
And then stopped a little bit, went into Football Manager, which I'm going to look at my hours. Actually, 2022 I didn't actually play that much. 2021 I played 650 hours of Football Manager 21, which I know isn't even that big, but
650.
Yeah, I'm assuming you probably have more.
Let's have a look. Actually,
no. What about 22?
22. I didn't have on Steam, so
okay. Yeah.
I don't have that data. But my highest played ones on Steam is 2018, and I had 600 hours. So
okay, maybe I did play it more than I thought. Then maybe
maybe.
I did. But yeah, it's funny how we both kind of transitioned into that, and then we've both slipped away. Whereas now, like, I would only like historically play FPS games, and now I find myself, apart from Valorant, which is an FPS in general, but playing like Soulsborne games, like something that I've never been into, story mode games. Like I played every Gears of War campaign, but once I'd done the campaign, I'd be straight into multiplayer. If I played COD, I would skip the campaign. I'm not even lying. I played none of the campaign. I'd maybe play like bits and bobs if I had if I was annoyed, but I'd never play the campaign. It was all multiplayer. And now I'm sat here most nights playing solo player games, leveling things up, which is it's interesting.
I guess I had a similar thing. Like I guess going into like school and stuff, it was all about Call of Duty and FIFA. So I must have played. I wouldn't have played that much Call of Duty, but I did do all the campaigns. I don't think I had like good internet, so I was like, I'm not going online. But like World at War, for example, was the first online game I played. And I was like, or at least on a console. And I was like, this is mind blowing. I'm like, that's a real person from. And this is what fucks me up though now, because I'm like, I start to feel old because I think back and I was like, I was relatively like maybe 14 or something, and I'm sat there going, so you're playing with someone from bloody Brazil, and we're sat here in this room, and it's like, and now it's like,
that's just normal.
People are wearing VR headsets playing with like 100 million people, and I'm like, yeah, I start feeling old because I just think back to that, and I'm like,
I tell you what will make you feel old is when I first started playing RuneScape. So I didn't have the internet in my house, so if I went to my cousins, they had dial-up internet, and anytime we wanted to play RuneScape, it was on their PC in their parents' room, and we had to like kick their mum and dad off the phone and like physically dial up, like open it up, dial up onto the internet. Like that was that to me makes me feel so old. And that was just me going to my cousins who was like 2 years older than me, and it was like mental. And nowadays it's so like easily to get. You just turn the PC on.
You can plug it straight into the PC, wireless, whatever. I remember
I can hotspot from your phone if you want. Like it's
literally, Oh yeah, it's mad. I mean, I remember like it'd been RuneScape '07 or something, '06 maybe, and everyone was playing it at school. I really don't understand. I still am. I'm really bad at games. Like I don't get it sometimes.
We
And I
both
think with
are.
RuneScape, I just don't get it. And I've even tried recently to get into it, and I'm like, I just don't understand what's going on or how to
Yeah.
how to navigate through it. And someone at school went, "Oh, I was like, I don't get it. I don't understand it." So someone at school was like, "Let me get your account. I'll get you the rune armor. You'll be sorted. You can just take it from there." And I went, "Oh, nice one, nice one." I give him my account, and he went, "You come into school the next day," and he goes, "Oh, I threw all your stuff in lava." And I was like,
Like IRL scammed.
"Yeah," and I was like, "Oh right," and he's like making a big deal of it, laughing about it, and I'm like, right, cool. I'm like, I don't get it. I don't get the game, so I mean, it doesn't matter.
It didn't affect you, but he went, "Give me your armor, I'll trim it," and you were like, "Yeah, sure, no problem."
Yeah.
Handed over your skill blazer.
Yeah, I just jumped back on the Club Penguin.
Oh, okay, yeah.
then I was
You were
like-
getting groomed by people. Okay, I understand.
basically.
Yeah. We were getting top valuable lessons on RuneScape, and you were getting groomed. So-
Yeah, basically. Oh, Habbo Hotel as well.
yeah.
I got banned from that.
I stayed away from that. I had friends that played that quite a bit, but I never got into that one. I think thankfully as well.
My cousin told my mum I was playing it, and then I think he told us something, like showed her like an article or something about groomers on there.
Yeah.
And she comes storming in and she's like, "You're not playing that game ever again." I'm like, right, sound. I'm like,
Here's one. Did you ever play Battle.net? I feel like that's what it's called. I'm going to have to
.net,
Google it now.
that's the Blizzard launcher.
Oh, but is it right? Maybe it wasn't that then. Fuck. Yeah, that is Blizzard Launcher. Oh, what was it called? I seen a YouTube video on this the other day, but I didn't click on it. Oh, hold
Oh,
on.
damn.
Or Neopets as well. I'm assuming you played Neopets.
No, not really, no.
Oh, okay.
I'm glad isn't it? Scientology owned.
Yeah, it was, and then I think it came back.
Hmm.
This is going to really, I can't remember it. It was like a battle game where there was like dragons and stuff, but it was like a click one, so you press your way along. It was obviously like a 2D print on the PC, but anyway, that goes on. And then
I played like jumpers for goalposts.
yes, I was just about to say that. I was like, yeah, PC games, jumpers for goalposts. Yeah. They were the days. Sitting in school and you would just be like IT class at the back, just like hitting the goals. Yeah, yeah, they were. That was a good game. That was a good one. But anyway, let's talk current games. This is what we're here to do. We're not here to reminisce for the good old days. We could easily. But let's talk current games. What has grabbed your attention recently? What have you been sucked into?
So, as you know, I don't get a lot of time to game. So,
Yep.
I sort of have my Nintendo Switch and I see that as my like route into sort of casually gaming.
Okay.
Because otherwise I'll be on here and I'll be streaming, and so that's where all my games are that people don't know about.
Yeah.
That sounds dodgy as hell. So recently I picked up a game for bedtime called Golf Club Wasteland.
Okay, I thought I was going to go slightly
Yeah.
different there. I thought this was going VR headset. Man's got the Stream Deck out and he's like, bedtime it is, sit back.
Golf Club Wasteland, or I think it's on Steam as like Golf Club Nostalgia or something like that.
Okay.
And essentially the premise is you're on a planet after the Earth is gone, and you're playing golf. You get like a par, and if you go over the par, you start again. And it's quite
So
ruthless,
the
actually.
planet's destroyed,
Yeah,
apart from golf courses.
it's wasteland. Yeah, no, it's just a wasteland. It's like there's containers here. There's like toxic puddles there. There's like animals running about.
Okay.
Anyway, so obviously, as you know, in golf, get it to one side to in the hole.
Yep.
That's it. That's the premise of the game. Okay, but it's Earth's destroyed. You're on this like planet. You're on your own, a little spaceman. You like fly about, and there's a radio station from Earth So it's like people calling up, telling their stories, just regular chat radio mixed in with some like synth pop sort of music. And it's the best bedtime game ever. I love it. It's amazing.
And what makes you say that? Like, what's in the bedtime game categories? Because at the minute I'm thinking my bedtime routine is like sit on Twitter or X for a little bit, maybe scroll on TikTok for like 20 minutes. So like, I don't have that gaming routine. I mean, I suppose there's maybe like MOBA games, right, that people might pick up like TFT in bed, where that's kind of quite chill at the same time, but maybe a bit too intense. Like, what else are you comparing that to?
I checked and it is on mobile, PC, last gen consoles, Switch, which obviously what I play it on.
Yep.
I play it to get off my phone, so I don't want to be on my phone just before bed because I'll.
So you take another screen to bed.
Yeah, like I'll see, but I'll see something on like Twitter and I'll be like outraged, and I'll be like, I just can't sleep now because I'm I'm fuming. I'll be like, what has bloody Ice Poseidon done now? I'll be like,
oh, the live stream and stuff, or you could have picked
just there's random stuff. I'll see like XQC's getting paid £100 million to stream The Dark Knight. I'll be like,
yeah, Twitter is kicked off for me today. There's all sorts about British esports signing up with Saudi esports.
Oh, I've seen that, yeah.
Oh, that's all the rage on my Twitter just now, is about people going on about that. But we're not going to talk about that because that has a lot of political connections. And I'm just not prepared for that conversation at the minute.
So yeah, I just do it to get off the phone, off Twitter, off the phone, off TikTok, whatever. And so in the same category, I'd put like maybe some card games.
Okay, yeah.
I played some
a little bit of Solitaire
on there.
Yep.
Yeah, Solitaire maybe.
Okay. Yep.
Played like maybe Pokemon would be in that category.
Okay, yeah, I can see that.
Like,
I would even argue, if you're going to put these into debate, you could play old school RuneScape on your phone.
You could play it
if you were able to understand. You could.
If I was able to,
yeah, you could be quite chilling in bed, just like fishing and getting your fishing level up, or wood cutting or something.
I still feel like there's a limitation there because you can't go like, with this game I can do a hole, or I can get halfway through a hole and be like, right, I'm done now, turn it off, and it's saved at wherever it last was. Whereas if I was, so it's something without a quest, if I'm in Pokemon, it's like there's a trainer, I've got to beat that trainer.
Okay, so you need like a hard cut off.
I need a hard cut off.
Oh, okay.
When I'm too tired.
Okay, I'm with you. Yep.
So it's perfect. Like, there's no other game that can compare to that. In that sense.
Okay, if you say so. Okay.
I think.
I'll accept your comment. I'm not going to agree, but I'll accept.
But yeah, so perfect bedtime game. I had a look as well. I think it was 2018, so it's like 5 years old now.
Okay, yep.
So
not ancient. It's not that bad.
Not ancient. Yeah. No. I mean, it looks great. It's like it's got a really cool visual style. It's a very sort of throwback 80s, like very colourful palette. Like great game, great sounds. I think I implore everyone to play it because it's just really enjoyable.
I've now just got like two images in my head, and I don't want to discuss these, but I'm going to anyway. Of you're getting into bed, the missus is coming in, it's been a really nice night, she's like feeling up for it, and she's like, right Whaley, let's go, and you're like, no, I'm playing golf, I'm sorry, I'm playing golf. I'm not in the mood, I've got to hit this in par. And then the other version of that is the flip side of, like, people like do the deed and then they'll go outside, have a smoke or whatever. As you, as soon as finished, golf, time to play golf.
Yeah. I've got to hit par 4.
Yeah, exactly. It's fully done. Oh dear.
Yeah, but I think that's my game. That's my game of the week. I've been playing for many weeks, but
yeah, that's your main one. Okay.
Yeah, I main in Golf Club Wasteland.
Okay.
The weird thing is, I've not heard people talk about it.
Probably because it was made in 2015.
2018.
2018. Sorry. Yeah. Okay, yeah. Probably why.
I think it's unique enough to have warranted its own sort of buzz.
Okay. I mean, it is quite a niche category. I suppose there's competitors to it, right? You've got, I mean, maybe not direct competitors, but like I'm thinking I can't remember the name of it, so I'm just scrolling through my Steam list at the minute. There's like the friend party golf game. Uh,
Yeah.
that's a terrible explanation. Let me keep scrolling through because I'm now struggling to see it. But it's like golf with friends. Is that not what it's called? Golf with
Oh
friends.
yeah, yeah,
I'm
yeah.
sure.
But having it handheld,
Yeah, golf with your friends. Yeah, exactly. No, that's what I mean. Like, I feel like there's
yeah.
competitors there, but specifically if it's on like your handheld device, it's different. I
I mean,
suppose.
otherwise I play like, like before that I was playing like, I'd buy like a cheap pool game
Okay, yeah, yeah.
and I'd play pool on my Switch.
Oh, what was that website that everyone used to play games on?
Miniclip.
Miniclip, that was it.
Yeah.
Yes, you were playing like 8 ball pool on that and such.
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, yeah, I feel that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I've got like a Switch pool game that I used to play, but
Okay. Yeah.
Golf Club Wasteland was just like far superior to that.
Is Miniclip still a thing? I'm scared to search this in case it's been like taken over by something. Is it still like a gaming website as well?
And there's cool math games as well in there.
Oh, yeah. Oh, a guard. Oh, I forgot about that, yeah. They've taken over. I mean, this website's changed quite a bit, but I mean,
Oh, yeah, it has.
As rightfully so, it has evolved with time.
There was like
it used to just be like a
Newground.
when I played it, it was literally just like a blue screen, and it just had like loads of games
Yeah,
spread
yeah.
across it.
Yeah.
That's interesting. Huh? There's only 2 web games: 8 ball pool.
Remember
and
that
a guard.
like
Careers.
stick BMX as well? You draw like
Yeah,
draw a little course and you'd like go down it. That would be a cool game. That they should do something with that. It'd be quite cool.
interesting. Okay, well,
Yeah.
my game of the week, which probably, I'm not going to lie, it's probably not that big a shock to you, really, because it's like all I've been streaming at the minute, and it's almost all I can get my head round, is the one and only, my potential for game of the year. Yes, I'm going that far.
Oh, wow.
Lies of P, baby. I think this game has so much potential. It's everything you could ever want from a Souls game, in a sense, plus a little bit more. I mean, the demo came out so long ago, and the demo was so long that, I mean, we've both had the conversation before of they're either really confident in their game, and that's why the demo was so long. I mean, me being really bad at it probably also helped with the demo being long, but to get like 2 boss fights in a demo is kind of, I want to say unheard of, to be honest, because usually it cuts off quite early. And it just reinforced that playing through the game. I mean, I'm currently like 40 hours in. Feel like I'm nowhere near completion. I think there's like 9 acts and I'm like 4 or 5 acts in.
Yeah.
And everyone I've spoke to about this game has had phenomenal responses. Everyone loves it. They've all said how good it is. There's a little bit of debate about people, whether it's a dodge-centric game, so if you're going for that dexterity of having to like jump through loads of attacks.
Yep.
And I feel like one of Dark Souls and probably Elden Ring's biggest, and I'm going to take flack for this, I'm going to say its biggest flaws is their tolerance to let you dodge out of like damage. So like someone's swinging down with you in a sword, and if you get that frame correct when you dodge through the sword, you take no damage. The tolerance on Lies of P is a lot smaller, so there's like, it will hit you, and it feels like it's very much down to timing on your blocks, so it relates back to like Sekiro, as well as another game that I would have loved to have talked about, but it was far too back in the past, Steel Rising. I feel like I mean, we've spoken about how Lies of P is very much like, it's being compared to like a Bloodborne and Dark Souls like combination. To me, it's like Bloodborne and Steel Rising combined completely, because it is down to that dodging. It's very much the same kind of flow of you're a robot in a world that's gone to shit, and you're having to like fight through it.
I can see that.
I mean, I want to say it follows the story of Pinocchio, but it doesn't, right? Unless Pinocchio's changed since I was a little kid, it doesn't. I mean, there's elements from it where like you've got the Mad Donkey and such that are in there, but it very much, and obviously like not all the main, but maybe all the main characters, but a lot of the main characters are still like the same people in terms of who they are and what their significance to that story is. But it just feels so good.
I don't know. I think so. I understand what you mean with the tolerance in like Elden Ring. Like I've played a bit of Elden Ring, and it's there's a lot of if I roll into the enemy, like 9 times out of 10, I'm going to avoid them,
Yep.
and so it's not necessarily rewarding, or it's rewarding skill, but they made it quite easy in Elden Ring.
Yeah, I feel like that's how you're supposed to fight all the bosses, is those dodges.
Yeah, and I think Bloodborne, I've tried to get into, like I will play it at some point fully. I think it's a weird one, right? Because people love Bloodborne and they love the setting and they love
Yep.
the design, and there's something about it that's it's so dark, and there's not a lot of positivity in that game.
Yep.
Like even though Dark Souls is obviously quite dark, there's still like lighter areas. You get to Analondo and you're like, wow, this is crazy, bright, beautiful castle.
Until you kill
area.
the princess, and then it's
it's bleak again. But they have these different areas, and for me, Bloodborne was very like structured. Like it's you're on streets all the time. A lot of the bosses are all like messed up, and it's cool. But from what I've seen of Lies of P, it's like it's bringing that color into some of the main characters, into some of the boss fights. There's a bit, some different stuff going on there. I think it can stand on its own without having to be like, Bloodborne 2 or...
Yeah, no, 100%. I don't think you have to compare it to those games. I think you're absolutely right. It's fully in its own element of it's its own game. It's important to identify it's not made by FromSoft. It's made by a completely separate company. So really there is no right to compare it to those games.
Korean developed game, isn't it?
I believe so, yeah. I just think like even with like all their communications that they put out as well, like they're very open to what's gone wrong. It's not even what's gone wrong, but just like in terms of listening to their community and bringing that back into what they can do to fix it. Like they took all the advice from the demo, they put it into the game. I mean, I'm just going to have a look on Steam and see what it's been rated. I think that could be quite...
I mean, I think for me, like, From Software's the top dog right now.
Yeah.
I think they can do no wrong. I mean, like, I've been playing Armored Core, and that's been amazing. But I think Lies of P has come in and it's been like adjacent to that.
Yeah, I mean, it's got a 9 out of 10 on Steam, an 8 out of 10 on IGM. The audience rating summary on Google at the minute is only 3.8. And the first comment's talking about how because we've not had a half decent Souls-like game, that's why it's getting such good reviews. But like, I don't think so. Like, I think it is just a pretty good. It's a really good game. There's not a lot that annoys me. Like, yes, I'm getting stuck at bosses, but that's what you want from these type of games. You don't want to be going into a boss room and being able to complete it with ease. It just defeats the whole point of it. And I felt that challenge with every single boss, as well as every single boss having its own different set of challenges. It's not like this is the set routine. The only flaw that I'd say around some bosses, and they're not main bosses or like the demi bosses, is if you're fighting a human, the tactic of them is just a copy and paste of dodge a couple of attacks and then stab them in the back. Like that's just every human you come across is how you kill them. I mean, you could fight them in different ways, but that's, I suppose, the meta way, right? That would be my only criticism. But every other actual boss has its own unique fight style, its own unique move sets, and its own unique counters. And it gives you that option of if you want to be that dexterity build of dodging about and missing loads of things, or if you want to be the perfect time blocking, which adds that skill of learning when that needs to block down.
Yeah. I mean, I think an 8 out of 10, 9 out of 10 is probably around what I'd expect for an almost flawless Soul-like game.
Yep.
Here's an interesting question: if this game was released by From Software, do you think it would be getting 10 out of 10 across the board?
Oh, honestly, no.
No,
I don't. But I think part of that thought process comes in on the back of it would be the first release since Elden Ring. And I think if you're releasing a game off the back of Elden Ring, it needs to be perfect, right? Because Elden Ring had such good reviews, people loved it, people spent thousands of hours in it. You've got the DLC coming out for it.
Yeah.
I just feel like if it was by FromSoft, your expectations would be so much higher. Whereas when it's from a different developer, you're not going in with that expectation of this game is going to be perfect, which allows you to reach a higher... I mean, it shouldn't, because you should be basing the games off of the same like reward review system.
Yeah.
But if you go into a game that your expectations aren't exactly 100%, then it's going to defeat those expectations and you'll think the game's stronger.
Yeah, I mean, look, like, there's always going to be a bias there of, a Call of Duty game comes out and it can get a 10 out of 10 and not be a 10 out of 10 game. Have a lot of flaws. But for a Call of Duty game, it's a 10 out of 10, for example. I think my main thought is that there seems to be a favourable look at From Software, and obviously Elden Ring come out and it's got 10 out of 10 across the board, pretty much 9, 10 out of 10, and obviously it changed the dynamic of these Souls games. So any Souls game that comes out from that Souls-like game that comes out from now,
it's fucked.
has a higher bar. So if Bloodborne come out tomorrow from Software, is it necessarily going to be a 10 out of 10? Probably not.
Yep.
Because it would be going backwards for that category. But I don't know. I mean, like Armored Core come out and got very solid reviews, a lot of 9s and 10s. It's probably not comparable to a FromSoft.
No, but you say that. So I was at a birthday party at the weekend, a 1-year-old's birthday party that I decided it was acceptable to take a case of cider and a bottle of vodka to, and proceeded to get absolutely smashed. But listen, I don't have kids. I don't understand the etiquette. If I'm getting invited to a party, my typical go-to is let's take drink and get fucked. 1, yes, because I'm Scottish. 2, because I'm borderline alcoholic. And 3, because I hate social interactions, so you need that alcohol, right? So, as that type of person, it suits me to a T. But anyway, so I was at this party and I was talking to one of the boys that was there, and he was saying that apart from like work it, like, so it's that typical conversation of when you meet someone that you've not spoke to in a long time or you don't typically speak to, right? It's like, oh, what have you been up to? And I guarantee you have this conversation with anybody, you're getting the exact same response. It's not much. Or how's work? Yeah, it's the same. It's that typical response, you know what I mean? So like sometimes you have to like drag it out a little bit more. And I think it literally went, oh, not much. Like apart from work, I'm just at home playing like the PS5. And that conversation then brought out a gamer in me, because give me an opportunity at a party to talk about football games or things along those lines, and I'm down. I'll speak to you.
Yeah.
So it went from this guy didn't play very much to he's picked up Elden Ring, completed Elden Ring, and the latest game that he's picked up is Armored Core, which I thought was interesting because he made that correlation of the game for me after that was Armored Core after playing Elden Ring. So
that's interesting, because I guess when you're in like this bubble of like being really into these games and knowing what developers making what, it's like what's the general consumer thinking when they see Elden Ring? Are they like amazing, another Dark Souls game, or are they going, hang on, what's this new game that everyone seems to be buzzing about?
Yep.
Like, I do find that interesting. I think Armored Core, even in the gaming community, sort of didn't have that. Like, oh, it's a From Software, we're excited for it. It's probably sold better than they thought, but it wasn't like everyone, like, I barely know anyone that's bought it.
That's interesting. But, I mean, you enjoy it, right? Your consensus on it's a good game.
Yeah, I've really enjoyed it. I don't put it in the same league as, like, a Souls, like, one of their Souls likes, but I have enjoyed it, yeah.
Interesting. I mean, it's it doesn't look like my type of game. I don't know why. Like, I get there's a lot around it that's probably similarities to a few games that I've played, but I don't know. It's just the techs, just like the big tech machines, just really throw me off and don't make me want to play it.
I think,
But I mean,
you'd be surprised if you played it. I think there's a lot of things they've taken from like Sekiro. Like they've got the stagger system, and they've got boss fights. I mean, we all love them.
yeah, we do. We're conditioned into that now. I did hear that one of the, I can't remember what he called it. I want to say he called it like a zone, but he didn't use the word zone. And said it was like from the Erd tree, like all the way down into like almost like the start of the Elden Ring map. So talking about like how huge some of the sectors are in Armored Core, which I thought was quite interesting as well. It's not just like, I mean, it's not going to be like small contained parts because you're in a fucking huge ass thing, right? But to that context of what it actually looks like,
it is. There's an element of like it's a lot of nothing as well in some cases. Okay. You know, like you've probably seen the mission with the big like ship that's like going past, and you've got to shoot the generators. And really, it's a massive map, but there's not a lot there.
Okay, so would you say it's kind of like Starfield, where it's very huge and often filled with fucking nothing?
No, the very like streamlined levels. So like you're in there for say 20 minutes for a level. And the level's probably big enough for 15, 20 minutes.
Okay.
But there's just not a lot of like, I'm going that way, and I need to worry about 10 things while I go that way. It's like, I'm going that way, and I'm there.
Right, okay, I'm with you. Yeah. Okay. I'm not going to talk too much about Starfield because I've never played it, and I've actually watched like none of it. So
scared of talking about Starfield.
The world that might unfold with that conversation.
Yeah, I'm just not interested in like any of the Bethesda stuff. Like Fallout, Skyrim, I've tried them all. I'm just like bite my tongue.
Yeah, that's fair. I was never a Fallout gamer. Like I think we once said it as like a channel reward goal on Twitch, where like you can contribute your channel points to play Fallout, and I think we'd hit it. And I played it for like an hour or two and was just like, yeah, I'm sorry. This is just not my game. This is just not the one. Like, it's just... It's weird because I'm starting to enjoy those storyline games a little bit more, but I just can't find myself getting into them. I don't know what it... There's that trigger point that just doesn't let me enjoy it.
I get that. I feel the same. Like, Skyrim, I've tried so many times to get into it, and I'm like... I just, it's like RuneScape. I just don't get it. I just don't get it. I'm like, what am I doing here? Where am I going? I bet you give me a gun in Skyrim, I'd get it. I'd be like,
it all makes sense now.
Yeah, maybe I just don't get RPGs. To be fair, like I played World of Warcraft last year.
Yep.
And I got close to like the max level to do all the end game content, and I got like, say it was like 60 or something like that, and I got to like 55, and I was like, look, I've bumbled my way through this game. I don't actually understand what I've done. I don't understand the context of where I am, what I'm supposed to do. I'm like, if I don't get it now, I'm never going to get it. So I'm like,
I have somehow got to the max point in the game, but I actually don't know what's happened, how I've got here, or what I'm supposed to do now.
Yeah, literally.
Yeah, I feel that. But this is gaming, right? This is what it's all about.
Yeah. You've been into anything else? Any other games?
I have. So literally just before we jumped onto this, I was in the middle of recording a little video for a game that I'm actually really excited for. I mean, I say I'm really excited for, right? I'm still trying to figure out the grasps of what it is. But this game is called The Bloodlines. And it was sent to me by someone in our community known as Maestro. And I think the way that I could describe this game is Roblox / Minecraft crossed with Skyrim. So topical that we're talking about Skyrim at that point. Yeah. But it's very much like it's actually the probably the most interesting fact that I could tell you about it is it's made by one person. So it's still early access game. Let me pull up how much it is on, because I believe it's $10.99 or something on Steam
That's
at the minute.
Bad. That's not bad for
so it's called The Bloodline. Let me go to its page. I'm going to have to go to the store. But So it's like an open world game where you can pretty much decide how you want to play it. So you have like different skills. You have also, so you can be you can be a mage, you can range, you can attack with melee. You can literally just harvest trees and build houses and farms and stuff like that.
Yeah.
But so basically the description on Steam, and this is a direct quote for quote, apart from I'll probably mix some words up because I can't talk, is the Bloodline is a sandbox adventure RPG that lets you play your way. Reforge bonds between kingdoms, explore the wilds, craft and plan adventures, and wield mighty weapons or magic as you prepare for what's to come. So it's 10.71 currently on offer, down from 15.99. And honestly, so I played it for like 40 minutes, and I've loved it so far. Like, it's very much, when it says it's sandbox, it is very much a sandbox game.
Yeah.
Like you can feel that, and it has that feel around it. But I think with some games, you don't need like the top of the line graphics, and it doesn't need to look like super realistic or like super good. Like, and I think games like Sea of Thieves show you that with how popular Sea of Thieves is. Like, it has that type of graphical feel to it, right? Where it's not 100%. You're very much, well, sandbox into playing it, and I think I actually just seen someone use a gun, so maybe you will understand it.
Yeah, maybe.
But yeah, so you basically just get to like run about and do what you want. You get quest lines from talking to adventurers, and at the start when you're going through like the tutorial, there's loads of little stuff to do, and it's like kill 5 goblins, or like go mine some ore. So it lets you define like how you do it. You can play it as normal, just looking at it with your WASD. You can go into like a top down view where you're like overview the map, and you can run around on it like that way. And you're basically just like fighting like goblins and shit around the world, and leveling your character up. And honestly, it's interesting.
Interesting that. I think that sounds like it'd be up my street.
I think it would be. I'd very much recommend it.
One developer as well. It's like Stardew.
That's the bit that took me by surprise, because it popped up, because it's still very much early access. It reminds you that when you go into the game, like it says, it pops up and like we're still taking on feedback, blah blah blah, and then it says at the bottom, please bear in mind that I am one person, so I try and change as much as possible, like to make the game as good as possible, but keep in mind that it's one person, which I like that, because if you go into a game, expect, like, I'm going to say, like, use your FromSoft for example. Like, if you're going into a game that's made by FromSoft, your expectations are massive, and with that comes everything else. But when you know it's just one person, you're like supporting a small family business, right? If you're going to the shops and you've got like a Tesco beside you, but you know this little family that live around the corner own a little shop, you might be more inclined to go in there. You might not, because you might say, fuck it, they're more expensive, so I'm going into Tesco to grab a pack of cheese rolls for 50p instead. But still,
I think even then, just the level of criticism, it's like the only up guy, like deleting his game and everything. You have a different suppose you have a different tolerance to it when it's yourself making something. If a company's making something, you can sort of hide behind, blame them lot, blame you for half of the team. But yeah, it sounds really good. I'd be interested to.
I'd recommend it. There will be a video up on my channel within the next couple of weeks. I say couple of weeks, it'll probably be next week once I get it recorded and edited and stuff. I'm staying overnight in a hotel this weekend, so I might take my laptop with me, and before I go to bed, jump on and try and edit that a little bit. We'll see, but it'll be up, but most definitely by next week. So by the time this podcast is up, you'll be able to see that the video will be going live soon. So if it's not on my channel by the time this is up, then it'll be up shortly after. So keep your eyes peeled for that one. What about you? Have you got anything coming out? What?
I've been playing Magic the Gathering Arena. That's something that I tried a few years ago, and I sort of I didn't get it.
Is this something that's going to happen? Like the year is 2040. Whaley has finally understood old school RuneScape as the game is transferred.
It's a reoccurring theme in my life. If I don't get it, I just don't get it. And so yeah, I didn't get it back in like whenever it came out, 2015, probably 2016, and so I left it and I went and played Yu-Gi-Oh! Duel Links on my phone and stuff like that. Anyway, recently I was like, I want a game for my phone for my commute to work.
Okay.
So I looked at what games are trending, free-to-play games, and I was like, hey, Magic the Gathering Arena is on mobile now. And so I started playing it again, and I played it on my computer as well, on desktop. And I actually got it this time. They've like updated the new player experience and everything, so it was a little less confusing. And I understood it, and I'm like, yes. And I've been really into it. I put out a video the other day that was just like me playing the game, and the whole intention of it was just going to be me playing the game, and for half an hour. And I was like, because I'm at like a platinum rank, which I'd never thought I'd get to in that game.
So what are the rank systems like? I seen in your video you said you were gold and then you were plat. Is it?
Yeah, so it's like bronze, silver, gold, platinum, diamond, and mythic. Which
Okay, so you're actually pretty high up then. Yeah.
Yeah, I'm like mid range at the moment, but I just didn't think as a new player, I've never played Magic, and getting into it, I thought no chance that I'll get out of silver at any point. But yeah, so I was like, I'll just play the game, see how it goes, and I just kept winning in the video, and I was like, and I was recording, and I was like, right,
I'm actually good.
Like, yeah, I was like, right, I'm gonna play, I'm gonna stop when I lose, and I just didn't lose, and I was like, I ranked up, and I was like, you know what, that's perfect.
Yeah,
I was like, the second I hit stop record, I went and played it on my phone and lost, so I was like, right, makes sense.
Lesson learned.
Yeah, but I was just glad that I didn't continue with that video because I was like, that's perfect. That's exactly what I want.
Yep.
So actually rank up when I thought I wouldn't in the video. That was nice. So
yeah.
But that has been my addiction recently.
I think it's quite good because like clearly you've been saying like you struggle to find that time to like sit down and play a game for like length, but yeah, you're still finding ways to play those games. So whether it's when you're on your commute to work, you're playing Magic, or when you're on like your bed, you're playing like golfing in a wasteland. So I like how you're still finding that way to make it work and get on to that gaming, because we all know what it's like when you want to play games. Like you want to play games. Like that's pretty much all I think about. Like I'll take you back to when I was in college. All I wanted to do was either play RuneScape or FIFA, and I'd literally sit in college with my friend making FIFA teams. Like that was literally it. That's what we'd do. We'd sit on Futhead just making FIFA games.
Building I used to be the same. I used to read like I'd get the manual out of like Football Manager, and I'd just read like all of the features in the game. And I wouldn't use half of them, but I was like, I would just wanting to play it that bad.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think I've sort of realised that there's a limited amount of time in the day. So if I can make it work around my day, then gaming's not taken away from my life in a way.
Yeah, exactly. You still then get like your home time, and I suppose like if like for me, I've always been lucky enough that my commute's not long. Yes, that's kind of changed now, but I'm driving, so I'm not going to play games while I'm driving. But like that is a good way to get that time in. Like if you're sitting on a train for like an hour or whatever, then take out your phone. I mean, maybe you'll need like a power bank, but there's always ways to get that. And I suppose the Stream Deck is perfect for that as well, right?
Yeah, it would be,
it's you've got your games just on the tip of your fingertips, which we've always had in terms of Game Boy, so I don't know why I'm saying that. But it's good that there's loads of different ways now.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, like, last, a couple of years ago, I bought an emulator, and I downloaded all, like, my favourite Game Boy Advance games and Game Boy Color games and PlayStation 1 games on there. And it's just a little handheld, like, literally looks like a Game Boy.
Yeah.
But it's just got everything on it, and I'm like, that's brilliant. And I played it a lot more then than I do now, but like it was just finding that way of, I've got an hour downtime now of like whatever food's on, so I've got an hour waiting around for the oven to ding. it's like I'll play an hour of Pokemon. That's good. But yeah, so just finding different ways of playing at the moment.
Nice. We love that. We absolutely love that.
Yeah. One honourable mention I will give is I've played a little bit of CS2 as well.
Okay,
My
yeah,
first games.
I've stayed away from it because I've never been into CS and I worry too much. But go on, how is it?
It's good, but there's some issues on the technical side. I think it looks great, but then went onto the game and there was like massive performance drops.
Okay, yep.
I went into the settings, changed some things, it improved a little bit, then it got worse in certain aspects, and there's so many options in the menu for like video settings to change. And the problem is like it's not really settled in a good place. Whereas Counter Strike's always been that game that performance is number one.
Okay, yep.
So I'm worried that they've sort of stepped away from that to look at like visual aspects because it looks probably closer to like Valorant now than it did. Like everything's a bit cleaner. Yeah. But I worry that they've lost out on some of that performance that it's known for. So I don't know.
Okay, see if they can rescue that in the coming months. I mean, I've seen all over people talking about how there's issues with it, and I've actually seen, I think it was Simple put out a tweet saying that it's not playable in its current state, and if you want to be a pro at it, to wait for the fixes to come in.
Yeah.
But then a lot of people have been saying at the same time that this has always been the case with CS. Like it's never been that it always just like gets improved as it goes along. So whether maybe to keep that in mind. But
the issue is
they've had ages right to make this game. So
in the past, like they had CS Source, and when CS:GO come out, pros stayed on CS Source, or in some cases jumped to CS:GO.
Yep.
But obviously they've deleted CS:GO outright.
Yep.
They've just like, overwritten it with CS2, so they haven't got that option now.
Yeah,
and they've run the last event, so everyone has to move. So it's going to be interesting to see on a pro, especially in the pro scene, how that plays out.
Yeah,
because there's no other option there.
Yeah, it's either that or you've got to wait for the new Call of Duty to go pro, or switch across to Valorant and go live in its ever so fantastic ecosystem that is tier 2 is dead, and all of its potential markets falling apart, teams falling apart. Oh, it's sloppy. It's so sloppy that we are not going to talk about it because Valorant's economy, and it's just not worth it. It's not worth the conversation. But yeah, I mean, listen, my memorable mention that I'll probably just talk about ever so slightly and not mention too much on is going to be FC24, because like I said at the start, I'm refusing to buy it because I don't want to buy it because I know I'll become addicted. But I've already spent more on packs than the game is worth, so I will have to buy it when I get paid. But I'm enjoying it. It's different. I like the fact that we have the female players, so it adds that element. Like it's quite fun when I'm opening a pack and I see someone and I'm like, who the fuck is this? And then you're learning as well. It's like a knowledge thing, right? You're like, oh, okay, these people play for these people, and that's how they get on. So it's interesting. I think it's quite good. The backlash on it, I think, is just a bit dumbfounded, to be honest. But people will be people.
It's always going to be the case.
Yeah,
but I think I'll probably check it out later in the year.
Yeah, I mean, it's actually been quite good. There's loads of different stuff about it. There's like a million different packs. I think there's a pack that's worth literally like 40 quid that's just came out that to me is a bit ridiculous. But listen, they're farming money. This is all they can do. They're farming it. And I am a sucker for it. But I thought the gameplay so far has been decent. Like, I'm not getting so angry at the game yet. Like, I'm probably not that like far into the divisions that I'm coming up against like really good people. I'm dominating most people that I'm coming up against. And I mean, I'm sat there using Kyogo Furuhashi and Daisen Maeda. Like, I'm not using a super team that these people have. I'm very much committed into my Celtic core. There goes half our viewership's not a Celtic fan, but still. I think it's good. But I'll probably talk about that a little bit more next week into my next week, bi-weekly is what we're thinking these episodes will be. But so we'll save that one for then. But so far, having fun, and I think, like I said, game of the year so far for me is most definitely Liza P. It's fantastic.
Yeah, it's a good shout. I'm interested to see the awards at the end of the year. We've had some good ones.
See how it pulls out. Well, I think that might be us for the day. I think we might call it on that one. So remember, folks, this was the Play Pals podcast. Triple P is what this will never be referred to as. So I don't know why I said that, but still.
The lies of Triple P.
Yeah, the lies of Triple P. That's not a bad shout, actually. Make sure to follow us on our socials. Click subscribe on YouTube if this is where you're watching it. If you're listening on Spotify, make sure to follow, because we will be bringing these out, but it'll just literally be more of the same of just chatting shit and everything. So, Whaley, any last words before we go?
Bye.
Bye.